Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to be making some subscribe buttons and like button for YouTubes and all the different platforms and stuff like that. First off, we're going to get some cards here. These are cards from a casino, so they have a hole punched in. Got some scissors and popsicle sticks you can get from Dollarama. Very easy. And a hot glue gun here. So to start off with, make sure that hot glue gun is actually set to hot because I made that mistake a few times. I'm just going to be looking through the cards here. I want to get certain ones here. I want the Ace of Diamonds because of the whole diamond play button thingy. And then King of Hearts because that's the highest hearts you can get. So my rough idea here is this is a rough of the cards here. And then so the subscribe button will just be just a basic triangle like that. And then the like button will just be the stereotypical thumbs up. But the issue is I haven't drawn in a while. So here I have a broken thumb. What could possibly go wrong, right? I'm just going to be getting the popsicle sticks here, and I'm going to be looking for ones that don't have bends in them because that will mess everything up. I'm just going to see how many I need here. So 6 fit across nicely here. So I'm just going to grab another 6, make sure there's no knots or anything like that in them. And then we're just going to get the hot glue. Be very careful, don't burn yourself. I've done this multiple times, don't judge. And we're just going to lay them down instead of one at a time. I figure, might as well do all this at once and work very, very quickly because this stuff does cool off very fast, which is really nice when you're working with. Well, it's nice and not nice at the same time. Wait a second, and then we are just going to wipe off all the extra glue once it cools down a little bit. I want to keep this as flat as possible. As I'm doing this, I'm going to get something to weigh on. That is my water bucket there, which is I figure is not heavy enough. So I'm getting some basic material, and that's what it changes to right there while I do up the king. And now these are normal playing cards here. These aren't from a casino, they are flat. So this is going to be where I paint everything on. So now I'm going to be looking for the Ace of Diamonds, which unfortunately in this set apparently does not have it. So this set was not complete, which is probably explains why it was in my hobby pile. So I'm just going to go the Ace of Hearts because why not, and then the King of Hearts for that. So then I'm just going to exit out there, and then I'm just going to put it on there, make it nice and flat, and then put some more weight on it. Do it with the other one like that, and these dry very quickly. You only have to wait about 2-3 minutes before they dry. From there, we are going to, these are the primers I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using a gray and a black. That way I can tell the difference when I start to prime these, which is which. So I'm going to do the subscribe button as black, since the red I want a little bit darker. And since the thumb is going to be a white one, I'm going to use the gray so that I don't have to do as many layers. These are just scissors, like kitchen scissors I got. I don't know actually what kind of scissors they are, but I find them, they work very, very well for cutting these popsicle sticks. And keep all these larger chunks because then you can use them on bases for little pieces of wood that are nice, perfect size for that. I'm just going to grab some 400 grit sandpaper here. I'm just going to smooth down the sides there where I cut and everything like that because I do not want sharp wood when I'm working with all this stuff there. It's not fun. I'm just going to take a little bit of glue, and then I am going to fill it in after I'm done sanding here. I just wanted to make it a little even there. So I'm just going to cut these ones off, let it go fly everywhere. This fun fact about this is like a dollar store brush, dollar store, Walmart, something like that. It has lasted longer than these two brushes, like these two styles of brushes. These are like proper artist grade brushes, like very fancy ones. I've gotten a few of the silver one and a few of the gold ones, and this green one has lasted a lot longer. I don't know why, but it's kind of funny that a Walmart store lasts longer. So I'm just going to do a quick layer of primer here. I just want a rough one on just so the paint can stick there. The shellacky on them, it makes it a little slippery, but that's fine. We're gonna pick which red here. I wanted to use my blood red ones because that fits my brand color very nicely, but unfortunately I lost those, so I'm just going to do redstone. So I got the triad of redstone, which is the shadow, normal redstone, and then redstone highlight just in case I need it. And so after a couple layers of black, it is all drying like that. So I'm going to be starting on here. Unfortunately, these paints have been used in a long time, so I have to unplug them here. I have this little tool. I don't remember where I got it from, but it goes down to a tip kind of like a thumbtack, but it has a nice long. So if you actually have to stab into something to unclog it, like I have to do with these tops here, it works really well. I'm just going to knock out the extra paint here because the paint's still good. Might as well use it, right? No point in wasting it. And then I'm just going to go in, and there's little grooves in there that you just have to get the clog out. Just very quickly, rough outline of the triangle, and then I decided to use this color here. It is ocean, deep ocean. Sorry, it's a nice bluish green color that I really like. I actually want to experiment with it a little bit more. But I'm going to use that as the background for the thumbs up. Um, there's no point in me putting my paint on the palette because I have to use all this paint anyway, so I'm just putting it directly on the cards here. And then I'm going to be doing a very rough outline of the hand just so I don't have to paint over the blue. I'm going to have to anyway, but I don't want to paint as much as I would if I wasn't being careful here. So very rough outline there. One layer, let it go. Never glob on the paint. Always make sure you do thin layers. That way it doesn't look as weird. A few times I've had to glob it by accident and it looked weird after a while. So with the extra paint, I'm just going to do the sides and everything like that. No problem. This is done here. It is dried. It only takes a few minutes since it's miniature paint, sorry. And I'm just going to do another layer. You can tell the difference between one layer and two layer. You can tell how nicely it comes out for the red. And I really like this red, actually. Very impressed with it. So then I'm going to continue this. And I do notice a few spots that come up, which I'll have to fix later on. That's fine. This, I'm going to be using not a white, but I'm going to be using a aircraft gray on here. It is a nice, very light gray. You never ever want to use pure white as your base because then you have nothing to highlight up to. And then so I'm going to be painting out this. You can see that I had to go over the blue a few times, so that's fine. And with the with the gray, I'm actually going to be fixing up the hand and not making it look like a demented hand as much. So I'm just going to take my time. This is sped up to about 3 times speed, 4 times speed, roughly. So I am going very slow while I'm doing this because I do not want to make a mess because then I'll just be going in a circle of gray, green, gray, green, gray, green, gray, green, and then it just never end. And from that, after I get the outline done, I'm just going to fill it all in here. This is very relaxing, honestly, doing all this. It's just very nice. I'm used to doing miniatures, and just painting like this actually is very relaxing. I might have to do some more of this in the future. Anyway, gonna do this. Make sure you don't go over the edges. And like I said, there's no point in me using my palette because it's all going on here. So I'm just gonna put a few drops at a time because it does dry up pretty fast. I don't want to have to keep. I don't want to have blobs of dried up paint all over. That will look really weird. It would add texture though, so maybe I should have. But anyway, do a nice thin layer here, let it dry a little bit, and then I'll be doing another layer just to get it up a nice solid color from the dark gray. Up next here, I'm going to be taping off to make straight edged for the triangle here. I'm just going to be using some painter's tape. I got this from Dollarama. You do not want super fancy stuff that will stick super well because then it'll pull up the paint, but you also want enough it won't bleed through, so you have to kind of find a good brand. I got this just because it was cheap and I wanted to see if it would actually work, and normally I'm not working on projects this big. So I put that down, and this way I don't have to be super careful, and it'll give me really nice straight edges. So I'm going to be using the same aircraft gray, putting a couple of drops down, and I'm just going to be painting it in. Here is where I encounter an issue of the paint coming up because of the covering on the cards. I should have taken the varnish off, but I didn't want to damage the cards, which I ended up having to fix anyway. Here I'm just trying to put a little bit more on. This is where I glob it on, but still does not work. And for some reason, this area, the paint does not want to stick. I do not know why. So I'm gonna have to fix that after. But for now, it's just gonna be there. This is where I find out that it does not work, and it comes off very easy, which is no good. The red, for some reason, stays on perfectly fine. The white doesn't, so what I'm going to be doing is just taking that pin tool from earlier, I'm going to be scraping it up, and then I'm going to be very carefully scratching the top varnish of the card. This is what I didn't want to do in the first place, because I didn't want to damage the cards, but unfortunately I have no choice but to do it now. So very carefully, I'm just doing a very light scraping there to take it off and kind of score up the card a little bit so the paint will stick a little bit better, hopefully, which is really annoying because this took a decent amount of time. Because like I said, it's about 4 times speed, 5 times speed, and yeah, it was a very slow process. After that, just gonna get more black, put it down there, and we're gonna have to catch up to the like button. There's different miniatures around on my desk because during the times when the paint is drying, I work on different things. If I have extra black, I will put it on other miniatures that I need to prime. So once it's dry here, hopefully it sticks, which it does nicely. So now I get to use, I'm going to just let it dry fully. We'll put another layer of the deep ocean on the card, making sure not to go over the gray and ruin all the work I did before, which was a very, very tense process there. Now we're just going to catch up on the subscribe button. Remember, if you guys haven't subscribed, subscribe now. Perfect time to do it. After that's dry, we're going to do another layer just to get a nice solid base onto there. Going to take off the paint so I can get the edges, and I see here that the paint is peeled up just like it did with originally. So there's a few spots here which I'm not pleased about. It wasn't the tape's fault. It didn't stick too much. It actually stuck at like the perfect amount. It's just the covering on the cards made the paint not stick. So now I'm going to scrape it up here. I'm going to enlarge the area slightly just so they're easier to repaint, and give me a little bit more time, a little more space to work with. So I'm just going to be very carefully going around. I don't want to ruin the triangle because it's a very nice straight edge triangle there. So I'm just doing this here very, very carefully, which I think I slipped a couple times, which I was not pleased with, but luckily it doesn't show. And then I'm going to take some of the black, prime it on here. I'm going to be using one of those silver series brushes because I have a brush that is nice and square. So my thinking here is it won't flare out as much, and I won't damage the straight lines, which unfortunately I still damaged the straight lines, which I was not pleased with. I was trying to go very slow, but it didn't work. But hey, it's painting. It's fine. We can just cover up if I needed to. Put a layer on. I'm just doing this very quickly because I want to catch up to where I was, because I didn't want to spend too terribly much time on these. These were just supposed to be quick, fun little things to have on my desk when I go to paint other things, so they could be there. So I'm going to be just doing one layer there. From here, I am going to be getting another off-white. I think it's maggot white, if I remember correctly. And I'm just going to be highlighting the edges of it to make the edges stick out a little bit more, being very careful. The stereotypical thumbs up like button has a cuff, so that's what I made there. And I'm just pulling where the fingers are in a little bit so they actually look like fingers and not just some demented little nubbies. Being very careful to go here. I'm using a detail brush, so it takes a little bit of a longer time, but is worth it in the end. And here, instead of going onto the white, I'm actually going off the white a little bit. And I'm doing a little bit thicker lines here to have both the highlighting on here, but also to cover up a few mistakes that I've made with putting on the black and everything like that. Even though black and white don't really, like putting white over black doesn't really work all the time. If you glob it enough, it sometimes works. So this is the actual speed in which I'm going here. This is no longer sped up. This is the actual speed on which I am painting. So it is a very slow process to go, but it is worth it in the end because I'm very pleased with how these turned out for what, like $3-4 in material. The cards I got from a casino. I got the popsicle sticks from Dollarama, the glue gun, relatively cheap, everything like that. So little projects like this, they don't have to cost a lot of money, and they can turn out very, very well. I actually got the inspiration to do these from me making the deck of many things from my D&D game a while back. Same process to make the deck, but the painting was a little bit different due to the deck needing different things. I will be posting that soon. I do have to fix it up, so I'm probably gonna be making some videos around there showing it off as I fix it up and everything like that. But I'm very happy how these turned out. Let me know down below if you guys enjoyed how these turned out, or if you guys want me to make cards for anything else. I would appreciate it. Remember to follow me across all my social medias. I'm across it all: Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. Come join the Discord. All my links are down below for that. If I missed anything, they'll be down there. They'll be updated and everything like that. But this is where the cards are going to live. They're going to be up on the little stands there. But these are the finished cards here, and they turned out rather well. I think, like I said before. Well, I appreciate you guys watching. Remember to stay safe, stay healthy, stay awesome, because you guys are all awesome. Bye-bye.